The supreme vampire of the seventh world of the third nest of cursed servants of darkness was packing his things in a hurry. He hadn't felt terror like this in a long time. The last time happened to have been 40 Earth years ago, when, pursued like a hated wild animal, deprived of sleep and rest for a week, injured and almost defeated, he managed to leave that world at the last moment, using the blood of the initial, an extremely rare artifact that he'd taken without asking. In so doing, he had cut off his way back. After all, others of his clan had been killed for lesser sins. After gulping down half a cupful of the sticky blood of the great dark goddess, he had been thrown out into this altogether adorable little world. That was when Ivan, still just a street thug back then, had found him and fed him 20 humans to restore his power. After which they made a deal that obliged the vampire to kill 3 people of the human's choice. The vampire thought he'd be free of it soon, knowing the impatience of pathetic humans with their short lifespans. But King stood out from the crowd and chose his victims very carefully. Within the first 2 years, the head of the gang that King had been running errands for was dead. The second time was a full 10 years later, when the leader of a competing gang was assassinated, after which King became the biggest mob boss in the whole region. The third order came almost 40 years later, and turned out fatal for the customer. The vampire liked it in this world. He really did. It had good TV series. He had a cozy little place here, and he'd even stopped drinking human blood, keeping various species of chickens in his own chicken run, the blood of each of which differed like types of wine. But a hunter? In this world? During his conversation with the young man, the vampire had not been able to identify who exactly he was, but he had sensed his power and knew his rank for a certainty. All the Grand Magister hunters could be counted without running out of fingers. One of them had very nearly killed him in his past life. That boy had been there too. All he could do was guess. The vampire thought for a moment, carefully packing away his crystalline wine glasses. He was so horrified by the meeting with the hunter that he'd completely switched off his critical thinking. Now he realized that it had been just a young man standing before him, in the depth of whose soul there was only the shadow of a great hunter. The vampire could have tried to deal with him. But then he remembered the grinning snark on the young man's shoulder, and remembered the name of the hunter. From that memory, the already cold blood inside the ancient vampire turned even colder, and his long-dead heart suddenly beat a couple of times in fear. "The hell with it," he said out loud, shaking his head and driving away his dark thoughts, packing his suitcase even faster. "Screw this world. Screw the hunters." He waved a hand. An illusion dissolved, revealing a hole in the wall with a half-full cup inside. He pulled a large backpack on, picked up his suitcase, and downed what was left in the cup in one gulp.